City of Ames Historic Preservation Commission meeting, Monday, August 9th, 2021. Are there any changes to the agenda before us, or if not, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
A motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Number 3 on the agenda, any changes to the minutes from July 12th, 2021? No. Motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second? Anyone?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 4, public forum. This time is set aside for public comments on topics of concern to the Historic Preservation Commission. Other than those on this agenda, the chairperson may limit each speaker to 5 minutes. Please understand that the commission is not likely to act on comments at this meeting due to requirements of the open meetings law, but may do so at a future meeting. Seeing that we have no one in the audience, we'll move on to number 6. Number 6, discussion of application for CLG grant to conduct intensive survey of Chautauqua Park Ridge District. This is something that a subcommittee has met on, I think, once or twice in the last month. Oh yeah, sorry.
I think we skipped 5.
Oh,
Oops, the
I'm sorry.
award. Sorry.
I'm over eager. Back to number 5, continued discussion of award categories. There are only 10 items on the agenda. Continued discussion of award categories for annual Historic Preservation Award program. So, Eloise, could you remind us where we are with that?
Sure. So what you have before you is I just tried to take the discussion and compile it into language for your review and editing. So it includes a lot of what was proposed, I think, at the last meeting. I hopefully captured it correctly, but I'm not promising that I did. So please do feel free to edit. One thing I did as well is previously under the special award category, the architecturally compatible was in that category, but it's really a building award, so I moved it out of that category.
Thank you, Eloise. Any discussion of this? Anybody have an opportunity to look this over?
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Yeah. What's the next steps?
Next step.
Next steps?
Well, if you guys want to adopt this as your new language for your awards, then when we have the awards program that we kick off in January, we would just implement the new language. If you want more time to think about it, it's no hurry.
When I had suggested the revised award category titles with more curb appeal, I didn't think it was met with much fanfare among this illustrious group. I mean, do we want to move forward with renewing the Past Award, Crown Jewel of Ames Award, keeping the Past Alive Award, or do you guys want to go for something more kind of prosaic? And I mean, it makes no difference to me.
I think it was eye-catching. Maybe it was just new.
It is
and
that.
It really took some thought.
Yeah,
But no, it makes sense.
I'm okay with that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I like that there's a parentheses that kind of explain the category.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Staff, are you guys on board with this too, or? Okay. Unless there are any objections, why don't we, do we need to just approve this now and then?
When you're
Well-
ready to adopt it, you would need to vote to
Okay.
adopt it, or if you want to edit it more,
Yeah.
then
But
fine.
does it need to be on a future agenda though, if we vote on it?
Can we vote on it now?
I think you can vote on it now.
Okay.
I think in the interest of getting this off our plate, unless
Mhm.
you guys want to spend more time, I would propose that we vote on it.
Okay.
Do we just do a normal vote as we would? Okay. So do we need a motion to vote on it? Okay, so is there a motion to approve the revised minutes for the Historic Preservation Award categories?
So I move that we approve the new wording for the award program.
we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good. Thank you, Eloise. Thank you, Ray. Okay, now, number 6. Discussion of application for CLG Certified Local Government Grant to conduct an intensive survey of Chautauqua Park Ridge District. Mary Jo, can I turn that over to you you've been the lead on this, if you could describe what's been done?
The one that is in the computer that was sent with the agenda last week has been updated. So the one you have in front of you has the updated information. Susan and I went out and looked at the district and counted contributing and non-contributing buildings. And I'll pass this around for you to look at.
Can you define contributing and non-contributing?
Contributing are buildings that have historic character that contribute to the district, to the significance. Non-contributing are buildings that are either outside of a period of significance, or which in this case is probably 1910 to 1940, or if they've been altered too much, they don't look like they would have
Sure.
in that time period.
Or they're newer, is
Right.
said.
Yep.
So
Right. So, yeah, and you pass it on to Steph.
So did you guys get a sense of, how many properties are there total, roughly, about
Well,
90?
in those districts, there are 107,
Okay.
and 80 were contributing and 27 non-contributing. Some of them were questionable, but I just went ahead and put those as non-contributing for now, and maybe when we do more research.
A little more in depth, we can figure out what makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So do we want to share this with Helen?
Yeah.
Would you guys like to see?
Oh, yeah. Are there extras?
Nope. the
Oh,
one-
No, I just made one. It's our work.
Oh, I see.
It's our working map.
Oh, okay.
So this is, and I appreciate Mary Jo and Susan taking the time last week to do this. The purpose of the intensive survey will be to dig down deeper and kind of validate the quick findings that you guys found just driving through the neighborhood in a couple hours. But this gives the students that we hire to do this project something to work with. It'll give them something to kind of build a framework for the project around. And I think in terms of non-contributing and contributing resources for a district of this size, those numbers seem about right. I mean, it's going to vary greatly. Some districts have no non-contributing resources. Some have much fewer.
Right.
A smaller percentage of the whole are contributing. So this is actually pretty standard, I think. There have been some additions to existing buildings, as you guys noted. There have been at least one demolition, on Ridge Wood.
Probably, yeah, there's a gap.
Yeah. But it's a largely intact district.
I had something I wanted to say. I know. With the boundaries, we talked in the Zoom meeting today about the park. This OHP staff asked about the park being included, and the original boundaries of the Chautauqua Park District included that top part of the park where the tennis courts are. So I think that should be in the boundaries, probably, unless we find some reason in the historic context not to include it. So right now, it looks like we at least need to study that, and maybe study when the rest of the park was developed, and to see if maybe the whole park belongs in the district. I don't know. That's something we just have to find out.
And I think the curvilinear pattern too will be part of the nomination as
Oh,
well,
yeah,
which,
yeah.
I mean, it's
Following
Very much
the
distinctive,
Creek.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm very much of that era. And so when we talked about hiring students to work on this project, if you guys recall, we ideally, we'd like to get an architecture student, a history student, and then maybe a landscape architecture student to kind of speak to the three overarching sort of thematic areas within this district. So I
Right.
think that would be ideal.
So, yeah, and of course, the first part is developing a historic context. That's always, or usually, part of an intensive level survey. So that'll be one segment of the project. And we talked about this afternoon about the project being in, the products being phased in, like do the historic context, get that approved, and then do maybe half of the inventory forms and see how that's going. And so it will be over a period of, what did they say? It was
It was
longer
longer than
than
we thought. So
yeah.
not 9 months, but about a year and 3 months, I think. Is
Yeah,
what it was, or a year
yeah,
and 3
for the
months.
deadline for the products. So, and I think I put an estimate of time that Susan and Ted and I would spend. I put some time in there for museum, historic museum staff, 5%, and for museum volunteers. We can also add in any staff time that toward the 40% match. Let's see, what else should we talk about? They were excited about the project. They thought it was a great project. So they like the idea of hiring students to do it and training students. And so that's a good sign, I think.
Mhm.
And I think that's, can you think of anything else?
The only thing that I can think of, we asked about in a survey project like this, the students will be doing a lot of photography. Most smartphones don't produce the type of photo that the National Park Service wants. It has to be archival quality, basically. It's got to be a lossless TIFF or RAW file, which I don't think most smartphones produce. So we asked about the possibility of using the grant fund to purchase at least one, good digital camera, preferably with that geotagging capability, so the students know where the photo was taken and the direction and everything else. And that would become the property, I think, of the city of Ames at the conclusion of the project. And, we could use that for our own work on the HBC too. So that did not seem out of the realm of possibility, if I recall.
Yeah.
Anything else? Are we forgetting anything?
Mhm.
So the next, the meeting we had today with the SHPO, I think, fulfills the requirement that we reach out to the SHPO before we submit the final version of our grant application. So the next step will be just to submit that application. I don't remember what the due date is, but it's
Right,
coming up quickly.
August 14th is the
Okay.
due date for the draft, and September 4th, I think, is the deadline for.
For the fine.
And if I want to get the entire application, is on a program that is called Slide Room, and I had trouble copying and pasting, so I had to do this separately almost. But the application on Slide Room, I guess at the end, it allows me to print it out. So we'll have that copy for the city council. And it will, when did you scheduled it, didn't you, for council?
It would
Then-
be on the 24th.
Okay, so I'll try to I'll get what I can get done by Friday, I think. No, Saturday's the 14th. I'll try and get everything done by Friday, send it to OHP and get that copy of that actual application to you then to, and then I guess that how is that done? How is that handled with the city council? Is it an item on the agenda, or do you just,
Yeah.
Did-
Mhm.
Do you want me to
Yeah, go
say?
ahead. Go ahead.
So actually, one of the things I sent over to Mary Jo at 5:05 or whatever was a copy of a council action form that was for a previous grant in 2007, and Ray was involved with that. So that's the way it would go forward. It would go forward as council action form that staff would present to the council. And you can look that over and see how it was worded. And
Okay.
in that case, with that grant, they had already budgeted in the budget for it prior to, they knew ahead that the HPC wanted to do this. And in this case, we don't have that. But I think the fact that the timeline is such that next year's budget could then include the money, because they have to front the money before they're reimbursed by the grant. So next year's budget could include the project. And then since nothing is paid out until, that would mean nothing could be paid out till after June 30th. But,
we'd have to specify that when we hire the students to work, that they wouldn't get any money till.
and we talked to also just to purchasing today, which we were kind of interested in knowing how it could work with the students. And what they said is they thought that hiring independently like that wouldn't be a problem. And that would just be done by, project manager and so forth, you guys, your committee or whatever. But what would be best is if the students, I don't know, Ted, you may know if they'd be interested in this, but if the students wouldn't get paid, they would just get a stipend at the end based on their hours. So they wouldn't get payments all through the time period. It would be after they complete the work. So the city isn't cutting a bunch of checks and having to withhold monies. They just have a stipend that they provide at that time. I don't know.
Would it be possible to stagger the stipend so that they get a third of the way through the project, 2/3?
It might be. I think the concern was that the city didn't want to consider the students as employees, and they didn't want to have any withholding that they were given,
Right.
Right.
So that's probably a conversation to continue.
Right.
And maybe that's not even needed with the grant application, but it's
No, I don't think it is.
we would need to know
Uh-huh.
next after.
If you're hiring as an independent contractor, the agreement could be with the employees to the manager to have 3 equal stipends of XYZ, and it's not withholdings, but it's just an agreement within the contract with the independent contractor is what I would think. And
I
that would
think
just be, set for.
So a contract with each student.
Yep.
Would be.
So you're just an independent contractor with each student saying you're going to pay a flat fee of X, Y, and Z
Paid
for the work
out.
that you do through the process, and then that's what they get. And there's no withholdings that would go to the city. It would all just go as a flat dollar amount, is what I would guess.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, I don't remember if CLG money can be given out, or if it has to be at the end of the project.
It's
that
at
they
the
give
end of
them.
the project.
Is it? Okay, yeah. I couldn't
Everything,
remember.
all the money we get from the grant is not until the whole thing is completed and everything's submitted to them.
Mhm, okay,
Okay.
okay.
So the big, probably one of the big things is the fiscal year. The fiscal year starts July 1st. Now, of course, if you're, and I think I read too, you have to start by June 1st. So like purchasing a camera, maybe that could come out of your budget for this year if you anticipate that cost. But you don't have a lot of money in this year's budget. So maybe you would need to get that. I don't know.
Okay. Good to keep in mind.
So we'll continue this discussion. We don't have to have it all
No.
hammered out right now. So. Were we forgetting anything about the meeting today? The meeting with SHPO? Ray, do you?
Well, I know that the council's gonna they'll want to know the numbers for
You mean-
hours and, you know, like what we have on the sheets here from that other grant.
Yes, that's another part of the third part of that application that I just
Yep.
didn't print out. but
Yeah,
I will have that.
okay.
All
So,
right.
will city council need one of us to be there to explain what we're doing?
That would be,
Yes.
yeah, very good. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
recommend that.
What, tell me, I'm sorry, what day is that again, please?
September 24th.
No, August.
Oh, not September 24th, sorry. August 24th.
At
August.
24th, yeah.
six
Um,
6
And the
PM?
meeting starts at 6, and we don't know when it would be coming up on the meeting, what time, but it would be August 24th.
I will probably be gone that day, but
I may be gone too.
I think I'm going to be just back.
We'll figure out who. we'll
somebody will
have
be,
somebody.
yeah.
And if you want to have more than one, that's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Because they will have questions, I'm sure.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Gotta make sure I'm not skipping anything here. So, number 7 on the agenda, continue discussion of educational session
Before we go on.
Yeah.
I think you'll need to
Do we
make a
need-
motion
Okay.
to recommend that the city council
Okay.
apply for this grant.
So-
You know, if it's going to be on the agenda.
Okay.
And based on the timeline for the 24th, is that a deadline that we have to meet in order to apply for the grant? Is that why we're doing the 24th?
Yes, because the grant is due with a letter from the mayor by September 4th.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense.
We have a motion to, what am I making a motion to push this through to the city council for the meeting on the 24th of August?
I'll make a motion. I move that we recommend that the city council approve our certified local government grant and ask the mayor to sign a letter to submit with the application. I think that's it.
That's okay. Yep. We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Thanks.
passes. Thank you. Okay, number 7, continue discussion of educational session for downtown property and business owners. So the other subcommittee has been working on this. I don't know if we have much to report that we didn't report at the last meeting. I think the one thing that, and somebody stop me if we've already been through this, but we talked to, I confirmed with Steve Wilkie Shapiro, the architect out of Des Moines, that he would be willing to do this. We had some email correspondence with Ray and the two of you guys about an honorarium, which I understand we've provided in the past. Is that something we need to discuss here, or is that immaterial for the discussion right now? We need to make a motion to support an honorarium, or?
I think it would be appropriate to do that.
And is there a budget for it?
Since
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
the commission has a budget for education and training and, you know, make a motion to have money taken from that to pay for.
Before we make that motion, let me just provide a little bit more background. We had talked about the week that includes September 8th is a possibility for having this educational session. We had reached out to the Main Street coordinator for the City of Ames, or for the City of Ames Main Street program, but that person has moved on to another job, and I don't think they've appointed a replacement yet. So we haven't made progress on that. We were hoping to get support from Main Street, seeing this is precisely what they do. They promote preservation and economic development, which is what we're talking about through this educational session. I contacted a person I worked with in the past about this same issue, and she had recommended Andrea Gronow, who's the contact for the American Legion downtown, is a possible person to talk to about using the IOOF building as a case study. And you guys are familiar with the IOF building, so obviously a little bit bigger building downtown, a little different than other buildings in the downtown, but I think we might have talked about this before. It offers the possibility of looking at the potential of the tax credit, not just for retail on the ground floor, but retail on the second floor, office space on the second floor, and then some new use on the third floor. It's a 3-story building. The second floor is only partially used. Top floor is vacant space. It was the old meeting room for the IOF. So it seems like a good case study for this meeting. But I still have to make contact with Andrea. I have not yet done that, so I will soon. But if we can't do it in September, I think we're all in agreement. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if we pushed it back to October, that wouldn't be the end of the world. Weather won't be bitterly cold. Even so, we'll be inside. Hopefully the pandemic 2.0 hasn't kicked in by then, but
Or 3.
yeah, or 3. So we're going to continue to work on that. But with respect to Steve Wilkie Shapiro, Ray, we talked about this before. We had offered him an honorarium when he talked about a similar topic a couple of years ago. His rate, what we talked about for 3 hours of his time was $360. An hour-long tour of the building, the walkthrough, which is really the meat of this educational session. Hour after that for Q&A, and then an hour of his time after the fact answering any questions that participants might have about tax credits, about the tax credit program that he'd handle just via email after the fact. So September or October, we have a possible building that would be a good candidate for this educational session. We have an historic architect who's 36 CFR 61 qualified, who could speak to the tax credit program with authority. Do we just make a motion now to move forward? Anybody want to make that motion to,
I'll make the motion to pay an honorarium to this individual to come in and help us educate.
do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Is that sufficient for now, Ray?
I think so.
Okay. And we'll continue to work on that and report back at the next meeting. I think the subcommittee, maybe we can try to get together the next month just to firm up some of the details.
And I'm thinking September 8th might be tight to advertise it and kind of get it going.
Right.
You want good participation.
Ray or Eloise, have they hired a replacement over at the chamber for the City of Ames, or for the Main Street coordinator?
Well, they have an interim,
They do.
and I think that was part of the information I sent, because I had 2 emails I sent out.
Okay. I might have.
I don't remember the names, 'cause
Okay.
I'm not that familiar with them, but you probably know the names. The interim person is somebody that was already working on staff there, I think, or
Well, we'll reach out to him or her and move forward with that. Number 8, commission comments. Anything not on the agenda that anybody wants to talk about? Okay. Number 9, staff comments. Ray or Eloise?
I don't have anything. Do you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Number 10, adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:30 on this 9th day of August,
I move we
2021?
adjourn.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That was
Okay.
Thank you for taking my